Okay, hopefully you were able to successfully build the model, but let's go through it just in case you ran into problems. So again, the idea is that we're going to have a source server sink model. So we'll just grab our source, grab our server, and then grab our sink. And the instructions specified that these be approximately 10 meters apart. So we can see in the grid structure, you can see the measurements up here across the top axis and then along the side axis here. And so each one of these major, at least in this scale level, each one of the major grid levels is 10 meters. So something about like this would get us approximately 10 meters from here to here, and then from here to here. So then we'll grab our time paths, connect those up, and grab our second time path. And at this point in building the model, we should actually run the model and just make sure that it's doing what we think it should do. Sort of a verification as we go, rather than building the entire model and then going back and running it to check it, add a feature, try it, add a feature, try it, add a feature, try it, and so on. And so this looks like it's working. It's not a very complicated model. And so now what we need to do is go in and implement the changes to create the conwhip system. So I'm going to go to my source, and from the hint, there were two things we needed to do. We needed to set the initial number created, and then we needed to trigger on event. So I'm going to go over here to arrival mode and just change the arrival mode to on event. And as we see, now we have an error because we have this salmon color, and the error is that we haven't specified the event, and it's a required property. So what I want to do is, I know that what I want is when an entity leaves here, and in case I don't know the exact event, I can just use the pull down, and the common events that have already been defined are here for me. And so I just kind of scroll down, and I want to do output at server 1. The output at server 1 is this node right here, and so I want output at server 1 exited. And then if I click go now to do my testing, we can see that time is advancing, but nothing's really happening. And so we're not creating any entities because we've changed the arrival mode to be triggered on event. Well, the event can't actually occur until we have some entities. So this is a common error that people make when they use an on-event arrival mode, is that you have to have this initial number of entities to create. So we'll just change that to 4. And now when we run, we can see that the entities arrive, and then they trigger on the event. When an entity leaves, we create a new one. So one quick comment here about when we first run. When you look at this, it looks like there's only one entity set here, and when it arrives at the node, it expands. Well, the reason that is because entities are allowed to pass one another on a time path. So an entity can have different time, and you would have to facilitate passing. And because we allow passing, or because the time path allows passing, and all 4 entities are created at the exact same simulated time, time 0, they all travel together. And then when they arrive at the node, they jump into the the input buffer, and the first one gets the server, and so on. So when you're looking at creating multiple entities on a time path, you're always going to see this behavior when they're created at the same time. So that concludes the workshop video.